Hey Victoria, I thought I'd show you Rowena's song because maybe that'll make it a little bit easier for you to learn and to play. And maybe you can better understand what my intention was with the variations. So you can't read the music in this video, but what I have here is the first 3 pages of the arrangement. And over here, I'm only going to be playing this top line. Here begins the second variation, and we're just going to ignore it for a while and ignore the third variation. And then over here, I have the last page of music, and on this page I'm only going to use the very last line for now. So basically I'm just going to be showing you variation 1, which is here, and the piece just repeats itself 3 times. And so what I did in the arrangement is sort of make it 3 different levels of difficulty, so you could pick one and just play that one 3 times if you wanted to. Or you can go through the variations and let the difficulty develop as you care to do it. It's up to you. So let me just walk you through real slowly and show you some sort of easy ways to learn it. My voice may feel a little farther away when I'm seated, but I think you'll hear me fine. So the opening is just spacious. Now the left hand does a lot of the movement. So I would say probably through the whole piece, what's really going to help your stability and make it easier to play is if you learn the left hand first. I would not worry too much about putting the melody on top, because once the left hand is known and stable, it's pretty easy to play a simple melody on top of it. And the basic shape of it is this. So it's actually, you see, it's just this chord here. So all you have to do is just that. But then this gets wiggled around a little bit. So now here, this is measure 9. This is the beginning of variation 1. The melody is going to play here. Very simple. You don't have to move your hand, ever. Right? All of it you can keep through. So actually the only thing that's happening is this left hand, and it changes slightly. Now this one moves to here. Now the chord changes to that. So the chords up here are this, that, that. That's the second one also. So it's actually just 3 chords. 1, 2, 3, and that's number 2 again. And then we do the same thing again with the left hand. It's going to go cycle through those same chords, and with a slight change in the melody. So really the core of it is the left hand. The melody is so simple and pure that's not the hard part. All you got to get used to is this. And although it's moving, it's really just so hopefully that makes it a little simpler for you to internalize, because once you get your hand in that position, you can just wiggle your fingers, and it actually doesn't matter where you wiggle them. It's fine. You know, however you do it, it's fine. Just get your hand over that chord and move it around. So now this next section, which begins at measure 25, it's a similar kind of thing with the left hand, where if you think of it in chords instead of a whole bunch of notes, it'll be a lot easier for you to do. So starting at measure 25, this is what the left hand sounds like. And again, all this moving stuff, just think of it as that. Now if you notice, bar 1 has an A in the middle. That's just a D, an open D chord with no third. The third is missing, so it's just a D. The next 3 chords, still the D stay, but the next 3 all have the G in the middle, and the bass is moving. So now the next will come back again. It's the same cycle. It's the open D chord. It's a C. It's a kind of G. And now this chord is actually that, except we're going to move it around. So it sounds like we're busy, but actually we're just sitting there playing the chord. And so on top of that, we put this melody. If the left hand is stable, the melody's pretty easy. Now there's a kind of a transition music here. Just little 4 bars of music. If you get your hand in this position, where you've got all 5 of those notes available, you won't have to move your hand. And the left hand is just octaves. Waits for a bit, waits for a bit, one more time. Super easy. So that's the end of variation 1. At this point, if variations 2 and 3 are too difficult, you can just jump back over here, back to measure 9, where it says variation 1. So it would sound like this. That's back to what I just showed you previously. If you wanted to end. So you could repeat that 2 or 3 times, whatever. And just prior, we had this section that you saw. And now if you wanted to end the piece, instead of repeating again or continuing directly forward, you would jump to the very last line on the very last page. So that's how it could work out. Let me just try to play it in its entirety. I'm going to repeat variation 1 twice and then jump to the ending. So I'm going to get here to the top of page 3, jump back to variation 1, and then from this bottom of page 2, I'm going to play the very last line on the very last page. This is the interlude. Now I'm going back to page 1. Jump to the very last line of the very last page. If you prefer to use variation 2, you could do the same, or 3, or mix it up however you like. So I hope that's helpful, and bye.